Hi everybody, this is Chris,
This is Matt.
and this is our second attempt at a short game discussion, which means unlike our normal monthly game club video we do, this is a game we can play through in probably a day or so. Something very short, basically to help us burn through our large backlog with simple games that we want to get to. Like today's game, Lemmings.
Lemmings, you could play Lemmings for a month
Hmm.
and have fun, but I don't know, like there's not a whole lot to talk about in
No.
terms of story and
Yeah.
plot or anything like that. So it should be a pretty quick discussion.
Pretty quick discussion. And I do want to mention that it is a discussion. It's not a review. We will go off the rails sometimes. We may talk about something other than Lemmings. We will mostly talk about Lemmings. I have a feeling this time we'll talk pretty much all about Lemmings. There really isn't. Well, there are a couple things that are interesting about it. We'll talk about. And even though I know we're going to talk about those interesting things, none of this is on a script. I keep getting accused of that we script these out. We don't.
Oh God, no.
I know, right? We have some notes we took of things we want to talk about, but we don't even go through the notes in the order we wrote them. We ramble and then we go back through when the conversation starts to drag and pull another note up. That's it. There's no.
Yeah.
This
Yeah,
is
don't overestimate us at all.
no. This is
For
chaos
God's
theory
sake.
at its best here. So
Yeah.
that's
What
just
was the first platform you played Lemmings on?
IBM.
IBM?
Yeah.
I think mine was probably the Super Nintendo version.
That was my second, and that's the one I probably played it on the most. But I had a friend in the computer lab at college who had a copy, and we played that. That's where I started, and then when I lost touch with him because he went away for the summer, I started renting it for the Super Nintendo and played a lot of that.
Yeah.
That and if you want a game that's like Lemmings, we're already off the rails, for the Super Nintendo, that's a little different. It's called King Arthur's World,
I have
and
not even heard of
you
this.
wouldn't have. It's completely under the radar. Where basically you have to get the king to something on the other side. And it plays similar to Lemmings in that your people kind of march out and you have them solve puzzles along the way, where there's knights and castles and stuff like that. You have like maybe three archers and you can change the angle they're shooting at and then they shoot. You can get shield guys to come up and block things so people don't get hot oil poured on them. And
Oh,
uh,
no shit.
yeah, highly recommend. Give it a shot. It's on Super Nintendo, King Arthur's World. You probably have
Oh,
never played
yeah.
it. Give it a check.
Yeah. I'm looking at it on YouTube. It does look very much like Lemmings.
Yeah, it's definitely got
Oh, that's
Lemmings.
awesome.
Yeah, I played a ton of that too. That was another good game. Um,
Yeah, one of the things I like about Lemmings is that it's so portable. Like you could play this on mobile, you could play this on any kind of platform, and it would be
I would have
fun and it wouldn't be frustrating, I don't think, on anything.
no. I would have to look up how many things this thing's been ported to, but easily this is the most ported game we've ever talked about. Game Boy, Nintendo, Super Nintendo, Commodore 64, which I didn't think. Obviously
Do you
IBM,
remember?
Amiga, Atari
Yeah.
ST, and then spin off and spin off and spin off and spin off. Oh No More Lemmings and Holiday Lemmings, and then Lemmings Revolution and Lemmings Paintball, and there was a semi RPG story one they tried to do. And I mean, they took this license and they wrote it. Um,
And rightfully so.
oh yeah,
As an
I would have.
intellectual property, it's so brilliant. It's so simple. And the Lemmings, like you like them, but they're also kind of
Expendable.
disposable. Like you
Yeah.
don't give a shit if a bunch of them die. It's great.
You
That's
enjoy them dying. You
yeah,
even when you're like losing the level, it's fun to lose the level because you enjoy them dying.
yeah, yeah. Good call. What
Yeah,
was the original platform this came out on?
that's actually what I was about to say. It surprised me. I think this is the first one we've done where Amiga was the original platform.
Yeah, and I
Usually,
played this on the Amiga emulator, and it was exactly the same, pretty
hmm
much as the PC version. So whatever you want to play it on, like
Yeah.
doesn't really matter.
And it looks a lot like the Super Nintendo version. And that's one of the things I think all their changes and all their moves and all their everything they got right. I have one of my notes in here. I'm going to scroll down to it because it's my other notes. There's a reason dive scores are combinations of execution and complexity. Like you can go up to the edge of do your dive and nail it, but all you did was dive in, and you're going to get a lower score than somebody who maybe did like a triple something and got pretty good on the dive. This game is nearly perfectly executed from the graphics to the sound to the level complexity. There's a couple nitpicks I've got on it, but there really are nitpicks. Until like I think a day or so ago, I was ready to call this a perfect game in execution. But it can do that because it's dirt simple. I should probably be playing here in the background.
Right. It's a game of reading the level design, and like you only have a certain number of tools in your toolbox, and once you have them, it doesn't change.
No.
You know, it's what you get. It's never, you know, you never discover a new kind of lemming halfway through that you have to use in some creative way. No, it's these lemmings along the bottom. That's what they do.
Yeah. Your levels will give you different numbers of them, but these are your lemmings.
Yep.
And I love that it doesn't punish you for being creative in how you solve problems. Most levels, especially the harder levels, there's usually 2 or 3 ways that you can, you know, figure out something and solve the puzzle. And you always feel good doing it. It doesn't matter. It doesn't hem you in as much as another puzzle game might. Here I'm just exploring kind of like how the controls work. Make sure you can scroll.
Yeah. Yeah, that level map in the bottom of the screen where you can kind of scroll through left and right is really a useful and well done design element.
Yes. Because you can click on it and jump around. And on some of the longer maps, you need to, because you need to be one place doing something else and in another spot managing something else. Sometimes. And this, I think, is my one ding against the game. And tell me if you found this. I don't know how much you played before you kind of took off on it. In the higher levels, I let one lemming go ahead and bypass all the traps and just leave all the other lemmings in a pool.
Mm-hmm.
I feel it undermines the concept of all the lemmings just marching forward to their doom.
Yeah, like I have mixed feelings about that. Like there's some levels where you're gonna lose lemmings because there's giant stompers or some grisly trap that's just gonna decimate your lemmings, and it can turn into either kind of a crapshoot, or it can turn into bunching all your lemmings up and then trying to get them through basically as one mega lemming. And so part of me likes that you really feel how expendable the lemmings are in those games, because like I said, you can just barf them on through and you know, hope enough of them make it, or you can try to get crafty. Is that what you're talking about?
That's sort of some of it, but like on the higher levels, what I will do is I will sort of put 2 blockers up or a blocker in a wall or something. And 99% of the lemmings will live in that pool, while one lemming I take and he'll build all my bridges and he'll do all my tunneling and he'll make a way all the way to the exit, and then I blow up one of the blockers and let the rest through. But it wasn't like I was actually managing the lemmings or worried about their existence until that one guy solved all the puzzles. So this horde of lemmings you get, which on these early levels feels kind of, you know, like this level, I guess I could have blocked them all in at the top until I got somebody down. But you know what I mean? Like, you feel like the horde is coming for you and you've got to move quickly. Once you figure out to pen them in, you don't have that rush. That urgency leaves. And you lose some of the adrenaline of the game. Yeah.
Yeah, that's definitely a thing that happens in the later levels,
Yeah.
but it doesn't really bother me so much because you still need to manage that one lemming really closely, and if you make any kind of mistake,
Yeah. No, the later levels
it's
get
it's
are a
Ragnarok.
beast. Do you know how many lemmings or how many lemmings? How many levels you made it to? You remember what level
No,
you
I
were?
don't remember offhand. I did. I'm on my Mac here, and I didn't play it on my Mac. I
Okay.
played it at home.
Okay. Um, yeah, I'm
But I've
trying.
made it really far in this game because I've played this a bunch of times
Yeah.
throughout the years. So I've made it quite far.
Um,
These level introductions, these first few levels, you talk about this being a perfect game. The way they kind of like gradually introduce this to you is really good.
yes.
Like now use miners and climbers. It's like
And
it's
that's all
kind
they're
of
going to
like
give you. Yeah.
yeah, it's on the nose, but you could sit down and have never touched a computer before, and you could probably figure out how to play Lemmings.
Yes. Yeah, it's not an in-depth thing. I should bring up the manual because I have a box copy of this from a friend who gave it to me. The manual's fantastic too because while there's a little bit of text at the bottom, it's more of a story about one lemming guiding his guys through a level, and it's all pictures. The whole thing is pictures and explains some of the one of a kind traps, like the one way walls, and
Hmm.
how to use explosions, and um, how to do exactly what we were talking about, which is build a pool with two blockers and then send one guy off. So it
Yep.
it it covers it. It covers it in like 5 pages. You know everything you need to know about the game, and it does it in a picture format. This game is so universal, and that's fantastic.
Yep. And it's the same on every platform you play it on too.
Mm-hmm. Yep. It ramps up at a nice pace. I mean, it's a slow pace if once you're used to it, but you can use that starting screen to skip ahead to like tricky levels or something like that. You can basically jump like 30 or 20 levels depending on where the jump is with the difficulty settings, and that's all it's doing is kicking you forward. Um,
Hmm.
in the level count, there's
Yeah.
125, 130 levels to this
Yeah.
version.
And I like their like level code system because you
Mm-hmm.
can just like write them down in a notebook, or I
Yeah,
mean, look them up on the internet if you want.
yeah. If you're really
Uh,
stuck on one level, you can just the codes are out there. Skip that one
yeah, but
level, get on with your life.
you could play this on and off for your entire life with
Mm-hmm.
that save system. Like if you
Yes,
have that one sheet of paper,
right.
it works pretty well for this game because the
Mm-hmm.
levels are so self-contained.
What do you? I mean, do you feel like the graphics? If you remade this, would you change the graphics at all? Would you do like a 3D update or anything like that?
Hell no.
Awesome.
I think it's perfect the way it is. One thing I would consider getting rid of is these fucking fence things. They're so irritating. They just like randomly walk through them. I hate the fence things.
Yeah, no, the fence things are easily one of the more annoying things because you're right. I mean, if you're not, I mean, they will, it's not random, but it is a pain. It is a real
Right,
pain.
right. You have to manage it, and it your basher guys will sometimes. I don't know.
They'll
It
lose,
seems
they'll
like they just kind
miss.
of stop or
Yeah.
yeah,
So the basher guys will go until they miss and then they stop bashing. So in these fence things, if they're not pixel perfect, they might just stop and then start walking up the ladder. And you're like, no,
yeah.
get back here.
You know what my favorite thing about Lemmings is
The nuke?
it. Well, it's kind of the nuke. It's this underlying evil vibe that exists throughout the whole game. There's like sometimes there's stuff written in blood. There's references to Satan.
There's
It's like
this
this
evil
weird
vibe.
underbelly.
Yeah.
It's so weird. Like I love that it's there, but you've got your happy little lemmings marching on, and then you've got a level that's like 666 that you just have to like bash through the 666 to
Evil
get to
vibe,
the
and it's all done with this like calliope chiptune folk music that's all happy and
right.
upbeat. It's so just twisted in its delivery that it's charming.
Yeah.
Neither one feels out of place, and at the same time, they do not fit. They're not meant. They're not something that should fit together. It's that hearing a child's laughter in the darkness kind of creep. Um,
Yeah. Yeah, it's great. Like I think this level might have some like
this is
that's
sort of the first
vaguely
one. Yeah, this was the
yeah.
first one when I was playing. I was like, do I want them to go out that door? Like,
Right.
and I think this was where I was playing before I realized like stoppers could be used to blow up. So I was just timing the explosions so that
Oh
they would.
God, that's hard. You're good at it though.
Not good enough.
Nope. Nope. Yeah, yeah, you can use a blocker.
Yeah, once I learned that, I'm like, oh,
Yeah, it is kind of more fun though to like time it. Oh,
yeah,
that's not gonna work.
but
Yeah, just turn them into a blocker. Although, oh no, they gave you blockers here.
yeah, they did, and that's what I should have been using, and that's the
Yeah,
message of this level was, use blockers, and
yeah,
it's the next level I figured it out on. I just nuked them there,
yeah.
and
I
then I,
think those.
yeah, started again.
Yeah. Is there a two-player version of this
Yes,
version that you're
yes,
playing?
the F1 would have taken me
Oh,
there.
oh, I got
I
it.
first
Gotcha.
didn't think there was, but yeah, there is. There's.
Yeah.
I remember playing this on the Super Nintendo with my girlfriend at the time, and there being fights. I got a feeling this is similar to Dr. Mario in that have a good friendship, have a good relationship, because you're gonna need
Right. It's gonna go sideways at some point, and
it.
someone's gonna get blamed.
There's gonna be some crabbiness,
Yeah.
but
Yeah,
that's
I
okay.
thoroughly enjoyed the sound effects in this game too, like the chiptune voices and
Yes,
music. It's all just excellent. The little pop sound they make when you nuke them,
yes,
just
it's
fantastic.
satisfying. It's and I really sat and I thought about it. Like, would I add a new lemming if I made it? Would I do something different? No, no, because these are the right tools to solve every puzzle. You can climb it, you can dig through it, you can build over it. Those are the three things you need to do, and then they have explosions just for fun.
Yeah.
And the umbrellas
The
to let you
thing,
fall. That's just
yeah, it's great. One of the things I like about it is that it's uh, a good combination of planning and execution to get these levels done.
mhm,
Like you could just pause this and you could look through the level and you could know what you
come
got
up
to
with a
do.
plan.
Yeah, but it's not that easy because like you have to time it, you have to have a sense of timing, you have to understand what's going on with your lemmings, and like
Mhm.
sometimes things will kind of happen off screen or you'll miss something and you like have a situation develop,
Right.
which makes it a lot of fun because you're reacting to things quite
Mhm.
a bit.
Um, I want to go back to the sound effects for a second because there's one sound effect in here I wanted to call out because I thought it's the only one that is meant as an alert for you, and that's the plink 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 of the builder almost done with uh, building. And that's
Yeah, the stare guy.
yeah, and I think that's just such a great design call that I wanted to
Hmm.
call it out specifically. Um,
Yeah.
because wherever you are, like if you're trying to manage lemmings somewhere else, hearing that plink 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 means you got it. It calls your attention to it, and it gets you back on the thing. Because otherwise, I don't think those builders would have worked in some cases. It's
Hmm.
and I don't think anything else gives you that audible alert other than maybe them splorching when they hit after a fall or
Yeah.
something like that. Their deaths are, I think, the only other thing which then it's too late to save. But that
Yeah.
that hint. You know, talk
Yeah,
about the
it's
interface.
great the way they all kind of march in sync too.
Yep. I love that they all march in sync. I love that you hover over them and it tells them what you are. That's another great UI feature because there are so many of them. It's easy to lose track of what it is you assigned them to do.
Yeah.
Uh, One of my other complaints, there's a drop faster, there's not a walk faster. On some of the
Yeah.
longer levels, a walk faster would have been nice.
Agreed. Yeah,
You
that
could
would be
speed up
one
the
thing I would
clock
add.
too. I don't care. Like I'm done. I've won, and I'm now waiting for 10, 15 seconds of just watching the level play out. That's, just a fast forward button sometimes would be.
Yeah,
You're gonna
that
give
would
me
be.
125 levels. Let me.
But the fact that there's 125 lovingly designed levels, each with their own unique,
Mm-hmm.
vibe, and it's pretty remarkable.
It really is. It really, really is. Um, I think the only other things we've got in the notes to talk about, it is going to be a quick one because these are short, quick games, and I hope people in the comments will add more comments about Lemmings, but I don't know what else to say about it. It's a fantastic game. It's well done. I've got a dog here who agrees.
Are you sure it's not dying? Because it sounded like maybe it was dying.
Oh, no, it's begging for some ice cream from someone in the room.
Oh, gotcha.
One of the two things about it, almost everyone mentions this one. It's DMA Designs. DMA Designs brought us Uniracers, which most people don't mention. Uniracers is a unicycle race game, stunt game for Super Nintendo. I loved that game. It
I
got
never played it.
no, it got pulled from shelves because its unicycle was too close to like something from Pixar, and so there was a suit and they had to pull it, and it's kind of ridiculous, but it's a good game. But they also did Grand Theft Auto. That's the one everybody's like,
No
this.
shit.
These is
The
the company.
original?
Yes,
Wow.
these are the
That's
people who went on to
awesome.
do Grand Theft Auto.
Yeah, that adds up.
That adds up. Uh,
I loved the first Grand Theft Auto. I thought that it was really unique and the way it moved was really satisfying. It was all top down.
mhm.
And it did, now that you mention it, it did have kind of a Lemmings vibe with the pixely violence
Yeah.
and weirdness.
No, this is a
Yeah.
company that doesn't shy away from its violence. It just originally did it with very cute characters that, um, yeah, just and I love how it unceremoniously just drops them. They don't march
Yeah.
peacefully out a door. No, they're just dropped
No.
violently into the world, and then you've got to try and keep them alive.
Yeah. It's
The other
got to be
thing,
a metaphor for parenting.
oh god, maybe I don't know what you're talking about. Um, this game inspired another game, another big name game. Have you looked at the notes recently?
I did, but I didn't notice that one.
Well, before you look, take a guess. What other big name
Skyrim.
game? Hmm?
Skyrim.
Closer than you think. Warcraft.
Really? Oh yeah. Oh, I did see that. You told me that. Yeah.
Yeah.
The
Bob Fitch
original
in an
Warcraft
interview
with the
said that,
little.
yeah, he's like, what we should do is have these lemmings fight each other. Yeah, and make them like orcs and Vikings and stuff. And they're like, yeah. And then that's kind of how they
Oh, yeah.
went to the Warcraft route,
Cool.
which I think is kind of a cool little bit of trivia.
Yeah,
I'm
that's
sure
awesome.
Dune and Dune 2 had a lot to do with it and stuff as well, but
Yeah. Yeah, Dune was kind of of a revolutionary game that didn't really get much appreciation.
no.
Was it one of the first like really good uh,
RTSs?
RTS? Yeah.
Is it on our list? Yes, it is. Okay. Just all of a sudden was like, did we pick Dune on our list? Yeah, we did.
I tried and tried and tried to read those Dune books for years and I couldn't do it. And then I finally I think I was probably on a plane and I just like read it and I was so glad I did because they're really good. But they're so deep.
They're so thick. Yeah, I tried to read them
Yeah.
in high school and they were too
Oh
thick
man,
for me. I couldn't.
Yeah.
Couldn't get through them. Maybe someday I'll go back and audible them or something. But
Yeah.
all right.
Anyway.
Any other last minute thoughts on this? No.
No, I think like the greatest thing ever, I think, would be if someone had never heard of this or never played this game and saw this video and then posted in the comments that they loved playing it because we recommended it. But I think everyone has played Lemmings.
I would tend
This
to
is
agree.
something you just like would love to introduce someone to this because it's so great.
Yes. No, it would be nice to have someone have it be our fault that someone's introduced to this. So then I will transition to the next game we're going to talk about is Neuromancer. It's our
Yes, very exciting.
very exciting. I normally don't try to overhype our shows for next time. You're going to want to tune in for this one.
Yeah, I'm loving the game.
I don't want to
I think
spoil
we'll have
too
a lot to
much.
talk about. Yeah.
From game design to culture to, we'll probably talk about the book. There is some backstory to the publishing rights that's very interesting. The politics of it, that and the alternate future it was presenting. Excuse me.
You're gonna die.
I might be.
Don't die on me.
And now you'll have to do the show alone. So there's so much to talk about. It's probably going to be one of our longer episodes, and I can't wait. I'm really looking forward to it. But that is our next big game. The next short game we're going to do my transition here. Boop. Karateka? Me dying?
What the hell is that? I've never even heard of that.
Karateka?
Yeah.
Or me dying?
Well, no, I've been plotting your death for years.
Karateka. I think it's from the guy who did Prince of Persia.
Here's how unprepared I am. I'm going to Google the next game we're playing while we're talking about it.
As you should. I'm going to be interested to get your take on this. I have never been good at this game.
Okay.
I've always had trouble playing it, so I'm going to give it more than a day because I struggle with this game. I'm not good at it, but I'm going to give it the try, and we'll talk about it. We'll talk about why I'm not good at it. But it's a request, so let's do it.
Yeah. I'm excited.
All right.
It's got karate, like it's...
Yep.
Sounds good.
It's got karate. It's got birds.
My two favorite things.
Right.
Karate and birds.
Karate and birds. You'll understand why I said that soon enough.
So it's like Ninja Gaiden then, because I've had karate and birds.
Exactly. It's exactly like Ninja Gaiden.
Oh, God.
Sure it is. You hold that dream for as long as you can.
And fuck that game, for real.
Yeah.
Ninja Gaiden, that's so hard.
First question I'm asking you next week, which game do you feel is harder?
Oh, it can't be harder than Ninja Gaiden.
I will ask you next time.
Fuck, man, I don't know. Okay, well,
right.
we'll do it. We'll do it anyway.
We're doing it anyway. We're doing this. Full speed ahead. All right.
Yep.
Thanks, everybody, for watching. Talk to you later.
Have a good night.
Bye.